with 2 on the clock for the win. Got it! 2 tenths of a second to go. Protect for the win! Got it!
Welcome back to Unsportsmanlike Conduct, 3rd episode, 3-week anniversary, guys. And we know a lot about anniversaries, don't we? Do we not? Our friend Parker here is having some technical difficulty, so his picture will not be up. But we got our friend Parker here only in audio, and we got our friend Taylor here in video and audio, and we got me in video and audio. A lot to talk about today, a lot around the sports world. It was an exciting weekend once again. We love sports. We love talking about it. First thing we're going to talk about today is Taysom's performance in the Saints defense against a quarterbackless Broncos offense. What do you have to say about that game the other day?
There's not really that much to talk about. On the defensive side of the ball, there's literally absolutely nothing to talk about. It'd be a waste. They were playing a guy who's literally bagging groceries 5 weeks prior. Offensive side of the ball, I hope that we just felt like we were going to play the most conservative game of our career, play calling wise, and that's why we didn't really do anything. But I did not like the play calling at all. I was on a plane coming back here, so I didn't get to watch it. But I watched watched the recap, the game highlights. But it just seemed like we were just not willing to throw the ball that much. We threw it towards the end of the first half. But we seemed very hesitant to throw the ball. We just seemed super conservative, and I didn't really like it.
I have to agree with you on that. I would have liked to see more Taysom throwing it than he did. I didn't watch the whole game. I had a lot going on that day. But what I've seen,
I was the only one that watched the whole game.
I didn't even schedule my flight, bro. I didn't have control over that.
I was putting up Christmas decorations. It's Christmas time, baby. Best time of the year. But from what I saw, Murray had a game. In my opinion, Murray played great. They're running the ball a lot more, and I don't know if it's because they don't have full trust in Taysom yet. To be honest, you want my opinion? I don't think they even have full faith that Taysom will be the franchise guy yet.
Well, they're not going to have
that. They said the big thing with, or at least the commentators on the game, they said the big thing they saw was they think Sean Payton took it as a spite that the other team was going to run the ball 50 times a game. So he was like, I'm going to show you I can do better than you, and I'm going to run the ball 50 times with my running back. So they said
that's a possibility.
It might have been some kind of thing. But to their quarterback's defense, Parker, he was not bagging groceries. He was a car salesman, okay? They said
I'm sorry.
They said it in the game.
The classic.
But you have to give the Saints defense some credit in the sense that they didn't know what they were coming into either. The first play of the game, they brought out Philip Lindsay at quarterback. So, that's a lot that the Saints didn't even prepare for, to begin with. So, that's difficult in that sense, too. You have to give them credit. I understand they were playing a running back or a wide receiver at quarterback, but you still have to give them some credit. 4 straight games now with no touchdown allowed. It's ridiculous. Really good.
You know what's crazy? I give props to the Broncos too, because that guy had 3 days to prepare, maybe 2.
No, 1 day.
It was only 1 day. Okay,
yeah, they called him up on. They called him up on Saturday. He played on Sunday.
I stand corrected. And that guy hasn't played quarterback since his junior year in college at Wake Forest.
Since 2017 at Wake Forest.
Right, and they were not shy to throw the ball.
Yes, they were.
They threw it to our team.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that they weren't shy to throw, even though it wasn't good. They still threw the ball. They threw the ball a lot more than I thought they would. That's for sure. And
the Saints kept stacking the box, and they put 9 guys in the box.
Right.
They're not going to run the ball against that, so they had to try and throw it, and they couldn't get it to anybody. So,
right.
Well,
go ahead.
If this game showed us one thing, it's that the kind of prove the fact that you're not going to beat the Saints defense, or you're not going to score on the Saints defense just doing one thing. Second game that we played against the Buccaneers where we absolutely smoked them, all they did was try and throw the ball, and we eviscerated them. They weren't able to do anything offensively
because they couldn't run the ball either. If you can't run the ball against the Saints, you can't win.
Exactly. And so far, no one's been able to
run the ball. Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Well, the Raiders were able to.
The Raiders were, but
that was the beginning of the year. Different team.
As far as Taysom went, I thought he played decent to below average. Definitely nowhere near as good as he played his first start. It'll be really, really interesting to see what he does game 3 against the Falcons again. So, he did well against them before. So, I don't see a reason why he won't be able to go out there and put out the same result. But if QBR was real bad, it was like 54 or something like that, and he only had about 78 yards and a pick. He ran the ball effectively, but it's just I don't even think he got enough throws to kind of get into grooves like Cam said. I would have liked to see more of a balance. We just nailed it down there. We just kept running the ball time after time after time and driving down the field that way. And Murray has himself a day whenever you get him that many touches and get him in a role. We've seen him do it multiple times in his few years in New Orleans, and he's just such a good north-south runner. It's crazy how Kamara's kind of been taken out of this offense, almost going from being a potential MVP candidate to almost necessarily being the sideline. It's crazy. He's not a great north-south runner. He's not good at being the single back in the backfield and going north-south and making these long plays. He's good at catching the ball to the backfield, and he's good at little screens, things like that. He's decent in a shotgun scenario, but just being like a single back, he's not amazing.
And I have to agree to disagree on that with Kamara. I don't think he's totally taken out the offense. It's just like you said, it's Murray's more of a north-south guy, and Kamara's a sideline to sideline guy. Kamara will have his moments going north-south, like up the gut and everything, but it's very rare that you see those moments with him.
And I don't even think that's not even necessarily his fault. I don't think they're scheming good enough to get him the ball. Like, he's the best player on your team right now, in my opinion. You need to get him the ball.
Kamara's at his best, obviously, with Drew at the under center. So he
doesn't really fit the Taysom offense.
You had something to say, Parker?
No, I was just gonna kind of agree with y'all about how Drew's, they used to say Drew's just a dish and dump guy. And Alvin Kamara is literally the best dish and dump player in the NFL that we've seen in a really, really long time.
Definitely. And you see a lot of people like to compare. I guess it's more of a competition between him and McCaffrey when it comes to who's like the best overall running back. But McCaffrey can do it all. And it shows
that's why I give the nod to him. He's a better north and south runner.
He's a more everything runner. He can go all over the field. He can use every part of the field. Kamara, I believe me being a Saints fan and a little biased, I believe he can too. It's just you could obviously see with Drew out and Taysom in, his play is a little hindered with that. So I don't know. I like to see if they change it up a little bit. If Kamara will become more a part of the offense in the coming games, but only time and practice will tell, I guess.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the game plan for this week. It's kind of they just played the Falcons 2 weeks ago, so do they roll out kind of the same game plan they had, or are they going to maybe throw the ball more? It'll be interesting to see what they do this week.
Right. It's just how much do they disrespect the Falcons? How bad do the Saints view that the Falcons are, and how easily do they think they can take this game?
I don't think the Falcons are a bad team. The Falcons, I think, are a good team. They're just not able to. They don't have that clutch factor. They haven't been able to seal up wins. They should be a 6-win team when you look at their numbers.
Yeah, you have Todd Gurley accidentally running in the end zone, which is
they win the game. He doesn't do that,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, speaking of winning, Saints, on a hot streak, and you love to celebrate that stuff. How do y'all feel about the Saints being penalized because of the COVID rules, celebrating those wins?
For everybody listening, we don't like to get into politics and things like that, but one thing we did want to address this week was for our listeners that don't know, the Saints were fined $500,000 and were also stripped of a 7th round draft pick for a post-game celebration in the locker room after their win versus the Falcons. Or was it Falcons or
No,
was
it was
it
the Bucks. It was the Bucks.
The Bucks. I apologize. For a post-game celebration in the locker room when they didn't have masks on during the celebration. So to begin that, I find it just absolutely ridiculous to begin with the fact that you can allow these grown men to go out and, for one, each player is tested every day. From the beginning they started training camp to now, they're tested every single day. 2, they go out on the field and play with a whole nother team for 3.5 hours. No problem, no mask, no nothing. But you mean to tell me all of a sudden they enter the locker room and, COVID now is coming after them? No, that's ridiculous. My third point is, I find it ridiculous how, excuse me, someone's got some feedback going, guys.
Yeah, Cameron, that's you, bud.
Sorry.
Sorry about that. Made me lose my train of thought now, Cam. Oh, I got it. I found it ridiculous how every other NFL team has done the exact same thing, and they have NFL camera crews in every single locker room. And there's other videos of other team doing this stuff. Now, sure, it wasn't as flamboyant with the strobe lights and, DeMario Davis doing his usual dances and all that stuff. But it's just absolutely ridiculous how the Saints and the Raiders are the two teams that have gotten pinned with these penalties. And the Raiders, they had a massive COVID outbreak. They had like 20 guys on the COVID reserve. So I can understand that. They had a lot of guys who broke the rules and things like that as far as the COVID protocols go. I just find it ridiculous. The Saints were fined that amount of money. And the even bigger thing is the draft pick. People say, it's a 7th round draft pick. It doesn't matter, this and that. Let's go take a look at the draft picks the New Orleans Saints have had in the 7th round that have made the team. You look at a guy like Marcus Colson, who's going to be in the Saints Hall of Fame. You look at a guy like Tommy Lee Lewis was a 7th round pick. Will Clapp was a 7th round pick. All those guys made the team and were effective. The Saints have proven that they can pick 7th round guys and they have a contribution to the team. So that's my big gripe with that. I think it's just absolutely ridiculous in that. I know I'm biased in Saints, but I think it's just Roger Goodell taking another shot at the Saints. He's still trying to come after us for the last 10 years.
Yeah, the fact that whatever your opinion on how you address COVID protocols and how you go about it, that's like not even part of the discussion, in my opinion, for this. The fact of the matter is, you just, like Taylor said, you just played a game for 2 hours of just not just being around each other. Tackling each other, getting face to face, like as close as you can possibly get, besides maybe rugby. The only thing separating them is a helmet. Everyone's breathing heavy, spitting. All this stuff, and all that's fine. But as soon as you get into the locker room, you can't. And
it's unbelievable.
It's just absolutely ridiculous. And then you have teams like the Broncos whose quarterbacks broke rules and have to play their game without the quarterback. And then they're complaining and griping about how they shouldn't have to play their game, that the NFL should just automatically reschedule it for them.
Well, they should be fined too.
I say they should be lucky they didn't get punished. I guess they just got punished by having to play their game. But we had zero we've had one positive COVID. We've had one positive. Two.
One like a staff member or something.
Emmanuel Sanders, and then Teron Armstead.
Okay.
Emmanuel Sanders.
But compared to all the other teams, that's really good.
The Tennessee Titans literally had a COVID outbreak and then went and practiced in a public park, breaking their quarantine. And they have not, and I know they haven't, at least have not lost any draft picks. It's one thing to find. It's one thing to find money. Money fines don't really bother me, just because it's a nickel to a professional sports team. But when you're taking away draft picks and things like that, that's when I really have my issue to start.
It's like I said. There's people will just discredit that, saying, it's a 7th round pick. It's not a big deal. Dude, there's people that get picked in the 7th round that can ball. You just look at the history of people picked. It's just about finding that player. It's about scouting. They take a lot of deep dives at the 7th round pick, but sometimes it could pan out. So you mean to tell me let's play devil's advocate here and say this is 10 plus years ago, and the Saints never draft Marcus Colson in the 7th round. Are the Saints even what they are now?
Exactly. Dude, and that's you have Hall of Fame like Shannon Sharp. Next Shannon Sharp could be waiting in the 7th round.
Wow, I didn't even know he was a 7th round pick. Really?
Shannon Sharp was a 7th round pick.
Next Tom Brady can be.
He was 6th. Yeah,
Granted, yeah, it's not likely, but I mean, also those picks can be used for trades and things like that. You're just getting into all these big issues that you don't need to be getting into. Who gets now? Who does it just skip, or does someone else get the pick?
No, I think it just skips.
Yeah,
That's
it
one
skips.
less. That's one less kid that gets to live out his dream of being drafted in the NFL. I mean, it's just punishing for nothing. But I mean, we could go on forever and ever about this. What's the next thing we got to talk about?
Hold on. It was Oakland that was that got the other pick taken away from them, right? There was only two teams. It was us and Oakland, correct?
Right, Oakland.
What has Oakland done so wrong?
Oakland has like a 20-man COVID outbreak.
No,
because of the
and
protocol.
I'm saying I meant to compare to what
They had
the-
a bunch of players that were caught out at like a social.
no.
It was,
I know what they did. I'm saying, comparing them to the Titans and the Ravens, like comparing to like did Oakland do so bad that the Titans and Ravens aren't doing so bad to not get penalized?
yeah,
well, I
and
mean,
that's a great point. The thing is that it's a dictatorship. Roger Goodell is the judge, jury, and executioner. He
Yeah,
has to make all these
just
decisions.
because
He's
a
one
rookie,
guy.
just because a rookie quarterback who got MVP, he's not technically a rookie, but you know what I mean. Like he was technically a rookie just because it was his first year as a starter. What? Just because he got MVP, you can't really take away or penalize the MVP team because of that. Like,
yeah,
that's how I look at it.
I do find it ridiculous that the Broncos have to play their game with 0 quarterbacks, but the Ravens get their game postponed.
Well, the thing is, you have to remember the reasoning that they told the Broncos that was because it was their fault. They didn't have
You're right.
they didn't
That's
follow the
right.
proper protocols as to why that was.
But it's
Now,
every
I don't-
team's fault.
Well, to a degree, but the thing is, they were at the team facility and they were in a team meeting and didn't have their mask on, things like that. All 4 of the quarterbacks were together without their mask on. That's where the outbreak led
Okay,
to.
so
Now, I'm not saying the mask would have saved the outbreak and all that other stuff,
Right.
but I'm just playing their defense.
So basically, what you're saying is that, shit, if it's on the quarterbacks, then well, okay. So
if it's the
since
team's
it was
fault,
in a
then they're
team-
not going to
since
bail
it
them
was
out.
in a team meeting, it's the team's fault. But if buku players go to a nightclub, then it's the players' fault. So they're not going to penalize the team.
Well, you need to also remember that Thanksgiving was last week, so I have a feeling a big outbreak came from that. People going, I mean, all it takes is one family member to have
No,
it.
no.
And it's
No,
spread.
I got you. But if it's players' fault regarding the Titans and the Ravens, then why were we penalized, and why was Oakland penalized?
I don't know. It's the same
just
question
doesn't
I'm
make
asking.
sense.
Cameron, you're asking for logic we can't give you. Roger Goodell.
I'm saying this more of like, this goes out. What if this gets big? Like it's to spark a conversation between everybody. Like it's not fair, and it's not me being biased towards the Saints. It's just
They said that the contribution I heard today. They said Sean Payton's mask thing was like a warning. Also, like that was like a first strike, like him getting fined just for that. I was like, that doesn't have anything to do with the team itself. It's a bunch of baloney, man. I think Roger Goodell is coming after the Saints, trying to get under the Saints fans' skin any way he can. And I'm biased in saying that, but I mean, I'll admit it.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about this forever if we keep going on it.
Yeah. All right. Let's
Agreed.
move on to something a little less negative. We're just gonna get into some NFL Week 13 picks, wrapping up more about the NFL. So the first game we got is New Orleans Saints at the Falcons. The spread is -3.
Oh, I'll take the Saints to cover that all day of the week.
I can't believe the spread's even that low. I mean,
everybody said on the radio the reason for the low spread would be just Taysom playing quarterback. They said just the inconsistency last week. That's what I heard. But I'll also take the Saints. So.
I mean, that's an easy dub for the Saints, in my opinion. I know you. The Falcons are a decent team, but I mean, look what we did to them the first time. Our defense can't be stopped right now. If we keep playing the way we do, I don't think there's no way they can beat us. That's in my opinion. Second one we'll go with is the Cleveland Browns at Tennessee Titans.
Tennessee.
And the spread for that is -5.
Tennessee.
I'll take Tennessee right now. The Browns are what currently 7-3,
7-3.
7-3, but they're 1-3 versus teams over 500.
See,
Almost all of their wins are against teams with losing records. I think the Browns are a bit of an imposter when it comes to, you know, in the top tier teams of the NFL. You know, they've beaten a bunch of bad teams. Whenever they play guys that are playing winning football, like the Tennessee Titans are playing decently winning football, they show who they really are, and that's a flawed team that's still not quite there yet. So yeah, I'll take the Titans.
I'm gonna go with the Browns on this one. I like the way they're playing, and I think they're starting to step it up as an organization. It's a must-win game for both teams because they both are top of their division. So and getting late into the season, I think both teams are going to come and show out for that game.
I'm sorry, the Browns are 8-3.
Yes, the Browns are 8-3. Correct. Yeah, that was. I'm sorry. The Browns are behind the Steelers. I forgot the Steelers are in their division. But well, for the Browns the Steelers are obviously on a hot streak, so it's going to be hard for them to top their division. But the Browns really need us to win to stay in their playoff spot.
Yeah, I just don't see. I'll tell you, the teams the Browns have beaten, they beat the Bengals, Washington, Dallas. They beat the Colts, which was a good win. They got demolished by the Steelers. They beat the Bengals again. They lost to the Raiders. They beat the Texans with Bill O'Brien, I believe, 10-7. They barely beat the Eagles, and they only beat the Jaguars by 2 points. So, I mean, this is just not.
Their strength of schedule is terrible. They're like the Ohio State of strength of schedule right now.
And here's the thing: they still might finish with they play the Titans, Ravens, Giants, Jets, and Steelers. They got to
play the Steelers again. They're going to take a huge.
So they'll probably lose 3. So they'll probably finish with 6 losses. Which I mean, yeah. I'll take the Titans once again.
What's the next one?
Next one will be the Colts versus the Texans. The spread is minus 2.5.
I'll take the Colts.
Who's the spread for? The Colts, I assume?
The Colts, yes.
I will take the Texans to cover.
Ooh. See, this is a hard one because Texans didn't. It was
what do you mean by cover?
I misspoke.
I mean, you just take them to win. That would mean basically.
I'll take them to win. I misspoke.
So the upset.
Unless they win by a safety, that'd be the only way.
Yeah. I think the Texans are playing a lot better football now that Billy's gone. I think Deshaun Watson's one of the best QBs in the league. He's just not having the best QB in the league season. But I got a feeling Texans are going to pull it out.
Yeah, I think Will Fuller being out is going to hurt them. So that's why I'm picking.
Yeah,
I'm thinking the Colts. I think their defense is stellar this season. The Colts defense didn't come out with the win last week. They didn't come out with the win last week, but they always bounce back. It seems like this season their defense. So I think the Colts defense is going to get it done for them against Deshaun Watson, especially with Will Fuller out. All right, next game we're going to go the Rams and the Cardinals. -1 for the Cardinals.
I'll take the Rams. Wait, so the Cardinals are projected to win that game?
Yeah, -1.
I'll take the Rams. The Rams are one of the hottest teams of football, and the Cardinals just lost a bad game to the Patriots, man. I mean, Patriots are not a good team either. I mean, and I think the Cardinals are a good team, but I'd give the Rams second or third best team in the NFC right now with the way they're playing. So
I'd probably go Rams too.
So I'll take Rams for that. I can't believe that the Rams aren't projected to win.
I'm gonna say the Rams as well, and mostly because Kyler Murray has some type of lingering little injury, and he hasn't been playing to his best ability. I mean, he only had 170 yards last week and an interception, no touchdowns, rushing or passing. So I mean, if he steps it up, then I think the Cardinals could possibly pull off a win. But the way he played last week, I think the Rams are going to come out with the dub.
I just would like to point out the fact that one of my best hot takes of all time was that Cooper Kupp was going to be one of the steals of the draft and one to be the better wide receivers out of his draft class before it happened. And I was right.
He is a very good receiver. All right, next one will be Cowboys and Ravens. Now, they don't have a spread for this one yet, obviously, because everything's surrounding the Ravens, but it's a very interesting game.
I'd say, honestly, we pick the winner for the Ravens-Steelers game instead of this because we don't know when this game's going to happen.
Yeah,
all
let's do
let's
that.
Ravens and Steelers. That's a good one.
It's
Easy.
a real
about
good
that
game. But the Ravens don't have their quarterback, so Steelers.
Yeah,
I'm
Pittsburgh.
going to say Steelers, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and the last one we'll go with today is the Bills at 49ers, and the Bills have a minus 2.5 spread.
Man, that's tough. The 49ers have been playing really good football defensively, so I don't know.
Josh Allen
that's
has been
really
on
tough.
a slack a little bit too.
Yeah, he was hot. He was my MVP pick to start the year, but he kind of slacked off. Maybe next year's his year. But
I'll take the Bills.
I'll go Buffalo. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Buffalo too.
I'll never pick the 49ers to win a game ever again after they broke Drew Brees' ribs.
Yeah, that fat motherfricker. All right. So, kind of getting away from the NFL here on this next topic. College sports has been taking a big hit this year due to COVID. A lot of opt-outs, especially big one is LSU had a lot of opt-outs. What is y'all take on the opting out of their senior or junior year and going into the draft, and how it will affect college sports in the future?
Are you just saying specific people or in general?
No, just in general.
Yeah, I think I was the one that actually came up with this topic. So basically, the big thing that I've been seeing is, or my question to you guys would be, do you think this is going to affect opting out long-term wise? So let's say when COVID's not around, in the future, let's say you have a guy, we'll just use LSU for example, since most people listening know that team. A guy like Terrace Marshall, who played more than halfway through the season and we're going to have a losing record this year, decided I'm just going to opt out, prepare for the draft, and get ready to move on to the next level. Do we start seeing more of that in specifically college football in the future with everything going on? Because as of the last 2 or 3 years, it's shown that it really hasn't affected guys' draft stock. So that would be my question.
Honestly, it depends on the guy. I think, and I mean, if you have a guy like, how am I going to say this? These guys that make it to this level of sports are often, everything they do is a competition and everything they do is competitive. And so I feel like even if it's not affecting their draft stock doing it, I think it should, because it's going to show, all right, and when the going gets tough and you're on a bad team, are you going to stick it out and try and ball out and win as many games with your brothers as you can? Or are you going to opt out or ask for when you get to the next level?
But the question you have to, and I get your point, the question you have to ask yourself is, though, why hasn't that affected players in the last 3 or 4 years that have done that, like Christian McCaffrey and Leonard Fournette? They opted out and they both got picked top 4. Like, I mean,
but
so clearly it didn't hurt them.
Did they just leave early, or did they skip their?
Yeah, they skipped the bowl game. I mean, nobody used to do that before. They were the first ones that ever did that. So I'm saying now that the status quo has kind of been that it's okay, I think we'll start to see a lot more of it in the future. I think you're going to see a lot more of guys giving up, which I'm not a fan of it. Obviously, I think you should play the whole season. If you want to opt out at the beginning of the year. But that's just my opinion.
I think there's a big difference between opting out of a bowl game and opting out of an entire season. Opting out of the bowl game isn't great, but I think a big reason with Leonard Fournette and Christian McCaffrey, definitely Christian McCaffrey. I think he had his bowl game like a year, 2 years after the whole Jalen Smith thing happened. And I don't know if y'all remember, but Jalen Smith was projected to be one of the top picks in the draft coming out of Notre Dame. He goes and plays his bowl game, which honestly doesn't mean anything. And he completely tears his I think he tore his ACL or like tore a bunch of stuff in his knee. And he dropped to like late first, early second, maybe in the third round to the Cowboys. And I mean, it almost ended his career. Borderline meaningless game almost ended.
Yeah, but my thing is, you can get hurt like that in any game of football. So by just saying, "Oh, I'm okay with doing it for if you opt out of the bowl game," I mean, there's still stuff that matters as far as the bowl game goes. But if you opt out 2 games before the season ends, in my opinion, it really doesn't make a difference. Like I said, if you're going to opt out at the beginning. If not, play the whole year.
I agree with that. Once you start it, you better finish it.
Yeah.
But it just seems like it's gonna be a domino effect, I think.
Yeah.
But because I mean, like you look at a guy like again, we'll use the Terrace Marshall example because it's on our mind this week because he opted out. But for a guy like that, who last week he basically got in front of LSU's team and said, "Hey, if we don't start turning things around," he said he didn't threaten to leave, but he basically said he didn't have to be here. He said he's already got his draft stock high. He said he's just playing here to make LSU great. And then Sunday morning, he calls Coach O and says that he's opting out. It was just kind of like, I don't know, it was a shock to me, to be honest. I thought he'd finish out the year, but
it's not. And yeah, it was a shock just because of like you said, everything he said. But it's not surprising, is what I should say.
yeah, no.
I mean, he definitely made the right move for him, because I mean, what if he just sticks around and goes and plays a game against Alabama next week and he gets hurt?
Yeah, no, I can't blame him at all. I can't blame him.
Yeah.
Just like I don't blame Jamar Chase. I can't blame them for.
I think the biggest threat to college sports doesn't have to do with football, but more basketball, is the G League and now international stuff. I think it's a big threat to college sports. You know, you have guys like, I mean, very close to my heart, Jalen Green, who was Auburn, would have been the highest recruit in Auburn history. And last minute, he decides, I'm going to go take a $500,000 contract to go play in the G League. I'm going to make $500,000, and I'm still going to get drafted in the top 3.
Yeah.
And you can sign with an agent and get endorsements.
Sign with an agent, start getting endorsements. Sense. I mean, he's making millions already playing in the G League. And he's still going to get drafted. Like I said, top 3. It's not going to affect his draft stock.
And instead of going to school, he's focusing 100% on playing basketball.
Exactly. No going to class, waking up early, having to just fake like you actually care about your classes, when all you're there to do is play basketball. I mean, it's a perfect scenario. If you want my honest opinion, I can't imagine why more people aren't doing it than they are. Like, the number 1 prospect in the country this year is a kid named Cade Cunningham, and I believe he's going to Duke.
He's at Oklahoma State.
I'm sorry. I can't believe why he's doing it.
I can't also imagine why he's doing it either, because they're not bowl eligible, they're not tournament eligible. They lost their
next year. He doesn't play this year. He doesn't get there till next year.
No, Cade Cunningham's at Oklahoma State right now, dude. You might be thinking of a different guy.
Yeah, I'm thinking of a different guy. My bad. But no, I just can't. I just don't get why they would do that. Why they wouldn't just take that option. Or you look at an international route like LaMelo Ball. I mean, you get to, like, kind of sound silly, but like, you get to go see the world, get to go see a new country, kind of be a celebrity, getting used to that little bit of more of a celebrity lifestyle, and then boom, LaMelo got drafted number 3 overall.
Damn, Cade Cunningham is 6'7", 220 point guard.
That's a tall point guard.
I know, it's LaMelo. Yeah, he's really good. I watched him play that day, but that's crazy. He went there when they can't even make it to the tournament, but he's a one and done. So
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, what we got next on the list?
We're gonna take a short break, really quick. Okay. When we come back, we're gonna talk about Pelicans signing with BI and extending Steve Adams, and then training camp starting and everything. And then a little bit on the LSU quarterback roster, firing Gus if you do or do not. And then we'll wrap it up with the Jake Paul and the Tyson fight. All right, we'll be right back, guys. Welcome back, guys. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is get more into the Pelicans, NBA basketball. We love talking about that. Let's talk about BI signing his max deal and Steve Adams signing his extension. I know last episode we kind of ended off in the middle. Well, we started in the middle talking about it. We didn't know when BI was going to sign, and literally, I think it was a few hours after he signed his deal, or it was like the day after. And then we got the news that Steve Adams signed his extension. So 2-year, $25 million, right? Am I correct?
I think it was 35.
35. Okay, so 2-year, $35 million. So what do y'all takes on that? I mean, we obviously knew BI was going to sign his deal, but I want to know more about what y'all think on the Steven Adams deal and him being a part of our culture for 3 more years.
It was a little bit pricey, if you want my honest opinion. I feel like maybe could have gotten him for cheaper since, like, he didn't have an amazing year last year. But if all he is a transition piece to get us into the playoffs and get our young guys some playoff experience, because people always think, There's no like making the playoffs doesn't matter as a young team. All you want to do like just keep waiting and suck until you win a championship. Well, that's kind of true, kind of not, because you put a team together, no matter how good they are, if they have no playoff experience, they're not going to win a championship. So it's really important to get guys like Zion and guys like BI and guys like Lonzo, who at least we think mainly BI and Zion, who our future is completely based around to get them that playoff experience. So if Steven Adams does that, then I'm happy with it.
I love.
Yeah, I was cool with it. Go ahead, Cam.
Oh, okay. I love that we brought Steve Adams here. I think he has one of the best personalities in the NBA, and him being a veteran and being in playoffs and everything, I think he'll bring that leadership into the locker room and that winning culture into the locker room, but also bring that team chemistry that these young guys could really look forward to and learn from. So I think that went into signing him for that much too. I mean, he's obviously shown in the league as a really versatile center. So I mean, we always needed a good center surrounding not just our young guys, but I mean, with the addition of Zion and BI, Zion really needed somebody who he can really who can show his true abilities around him. So I think that was the biggest reason why we signed him for that much money. I agree though with you, Parker. I think it was a little too much. But
I don't think it's too much when you look at the grand scheme of who's getting paid what. I personally don't think it's a really bad deal. I think his game fits our team specifically really well. I mean,
Yes.
he's really good. He sets real hard screens, which is going to be good for our guards like Lonzo and people like that. Which sucks kind of Drew's not there anymore because Drew would fit in real well with him. But really good thing I like about him is he's one of the best defenders in terms of boxing out. He's going to have plenty of situations where he's going to be boxing out a guy and allow a guy like Zion or Zoe to grab the rebound and just push the floor. And that's what we want. We want a guy like that who's going to be boxing out like that. And just he's really good rebounder. So, I mean, I think he's going to fit in really, really well.
Another big thing is, Zion, we always talk about how strong Zion is. If Zion's not the strongest guy in the league, Steven Adams is. And so I feel like it's going to be really good to have him there to help, maybe not Zion to learn his game from, but learn how to use his strength. I feel like Zion doesn't really use his strength all that often when he goes up to the rim. A lot of times he avoids contact. And so I feel like having another guy, real big guy there to help him learn his strength, not just on the offensive end, but like you said, it's like he's one of the best screen setters in the league. Like Zion could set some mean screens if he really wanted to. He's a big boy. And so I feel like, once again, having that veteran leadership of a guy who uses his body so effectively could really, really be helpful. Going back to the other kind of big news that with the Pelicans about how they are planning to start Eric Bledsoe at the 2, I do not like that decision at all.
They didn't say he was starting at the 2.
Yeah, it was
they
more
said
of like a rumor.
They would be at the.
But
they said no. They just said that would be the backcourt. They didn't say who was playing where. It's going to be more of like a dual point guard thing.
I just don't like that. If you're my honest opinion, a lot of people keep saying we did it with Drew, but Drew was better offensively than Eric Bledsoe was, and Drew was also able to guard twos, people at the 1, the 2, and even sometimes the 3. I think that you get guys like Klay Thompson or something like that, even though he's hurt, but kind of bigger guys at the 2, maybe like a CJ McCollum. Eric Bledsoe could kind of struggle there.
He's not. That's what I was just saying. That he's not playing the 2. They said he might be playing the 1, and Lonzo might be playing 2. It's a dual backcourt. Like there's 2 people in the backcourt, so they haven't said yet who's going to be playing what spot.
I still don't like it. I don't think Eric. I don't. I just.
So you're saying you don't think he should start in general? That's what you're saying.
I don't think Eric Bledsoe should be on the team, but obviously that's not an option. I don't think I will. No matter how much he plays, I still stand by the fact that obviously we're not having the All-Star game this year, but the All-Star break, that area of time, I still think he's gone before that time. I think this is trying to get some stock up.
Yeah. We've said this
before. Gonna wait and see.
If you're not following us on Instagram, we have a lot of interactive posts and everything, and we put on our story if we agreed about the backcourt situation, and 64% said yes, 36% said no. So I mean, and I'm not gonna factor that Instagram post to the decision that I make. I mean, I believe it's a good thing. I said it before, and y'all still hate me for it. But
I mean, I'm gonna give him his fair share. I mean, he's never played a game in one of our uniforms before, so
right.
I give him his fair share. But I mean, I personally would have rather see somebody else. But I mean, it was a good trade, so I'm cool with it.
Wait, so Cameron, do you still think that Eric Bledsoe should be the ball dominant guard? Since you said Lonzo should be at the 2 and Eric Bledsoe should be at the 1, not even a dual backcourt. So in your opinion, do you still think that Eric Bledsoe should be the ball dominant guard, like the guy taking the ball up the court and facilitating the offense over Lonzo Ball?
You see, like, I don't think he should be, but he's. It's so hard to make a decision on that because we really haven't seen
no, it's not.
Bledsoe. It kind of is though, because I've pulled up the statistics last time. Bledsoe's catch and shoot is 26%. You cannot have a guy playing the shooting guard position with a 26% catch and shoot percentage.
Okay, but why can't the point guard have the better shooting percentage? You look at a guy like Steph Curry. He's a point guard having a better shooting percentage. Granted, his shooting guard's really high, but I mean, there are shooting guards that can't shoot the ball.
I'm not saying a point guard. I'm not saying a point guard can't shoot. Some of the best shooters in the league are point guards. I'm saying.
Cam, let me just run you some stats real quick.
Here we go.
So in terms of I don't completely disagree with you, but as far as we'll just go off last year alone. Last year, Bledsoe played 61 games. Lonzo played 63 games. They both played around 30 minutes a game. Bledsoe averaged 15 points a game. Lonzo averaged 12. Lonzo shot 40% and Bledsoe shot 47.5%. Bledsoe had 4 rebounds a game. Lonzo had 6. Bledsoe had 5 assists a game. Lonzo had 7. So, I mean, Lonzo, for the most part, is a better player, in my opinion. He doesn't shoot the ball as well, at least as far as that stat goes. But, I mean, he has 2 more whole assists per game. So
right.
That would just be my opinion. But
I don't know. I mean,
I said last episode, I think Bledsoe needs to come off the bench, but that's just my opinion.
And with everything that Griff said, it looks like he's not. But I mean, like I said too, just a second ago, it's hard to really truly tell because we're in a whole different offense now too. We got a whole new coach. Do we have a new assistant coach?
Yeah, he brought in new people.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we have a whole new coaching staff too. So
my thing is, Cameron, with the thing about how you keep talking about how Lonzo's a better shooter and you can't have a shooting guard who can't shoot the 3. Until he got to San Antonio in his last couple of years in Toronto, DeMar DeRozan did not shoot the 3 ball. And he was an all-star shooting guard. I just want to put that out there. He was a mid-range specialist and didn't shoot the 3 ball barely at all.
Yeah, I mean, Eric Bledsoe is also 6'2". DeMar DeRozan's like 6'6".
No, he's 6'1".
Eric Bledsoe is 6'3", guys.
No.
Look at Eric Bledsoe and Drew Holiday are the same height. I looked it up. We talked about it on the last podcast, guys. I can't believe I'm doing this again. Eric Bledsoe height.
He's 6'1". I'm looking at it right now.
What the fuck?
Show you on my screen.
What the fuck? I looked it up the other day and it said 6'3". See okay, yeah, that's another reason why Lonzo that he shouldn't be starting.
His salary is $15.62 million.
Yeah,
I knew that wasn't correct.
My bad. Another reason I really want to deal in is because I really want the Pelicans to be big players in the next 2 years in free agency. At work today, I was talking to one of my buddies, and the next 2 years in free agency are unreal. I mean, everyone you can think of that's a free agent is a free agent. I mean,
yeah, but answer before you get excited about that. Answer this for me. When was the last time you ever saw a keynote free agent come play for us? We're a small market team.
I understand that, but all it takes is one. I mean, all it takes is one.
Name me when you're looking at your small market teams. Like we'll use the good ones for example. When you're looking at a Milwaukee, or you're looking at who's another smaller one? We could use Memphis, for example, using just those 2 teams. Where have they had their success in terms of getting their players?
Through the draft.
Correct. They don't get big name free agent. It's just not how it works. You're not going to get a big name free agent. As much as the only way we get a big name free agent is if we have just an absolute dominant player like
Yeah.
a LeBron or someone like that. And Zion could become that level, that caliber of player. So it could, I mean, Brendinger maybe, but I just don't. I mean, I don't want you to get.
I mean, I'm not talking
as far as
about
that goes.
like in 2022, or with people like James Harden, John Wall, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry. I'm not talking about people like that, but someone else who's a free agent, Zach LaVine, a guy like.
I don't see them attracting that level of talent right now.
I mean,
Yeah.
we've got 2 years. We've got 2 years to do it.
Yeah, I'm talking about right now. I don't see
Yeah.
them attracting that level of talent.
All right. Getting off that subject, training camp started today. It's December 1st. Wow, we're in December already. That's crazy. But it's December 1st, so training camp started today. Are the Pels signing too many big men?
Yes.
I mean,
I still don't know why we haven't addressed our shooting needs as far as like or just in general the backup small forward position or the backup wing position. We have no depth there.
I mean, I understand. We got Steve Adams, so we got our big guy there. We got Jackson Hayes behind him, and then we signed Willie Hernan Gomez. Am I right?
Yeah,
Correct.
So that's a solid 3 centers right there. Why are you going sign another 6? Like, it just doesn't.
I think. I mean, a lot of them are training camp and G League guys, stuff like that. They do this often before the season starts, and then they'll cut them. But I don't know why they haven't. They've only brought in like one other wing. Really, it's kind of weird. But
do you think there's a possibility that we see Melly play a little bit more of the 3 instead of the 4 this year?
No, he's way too unathletic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you're right about that. I mean, I'm just thinking. I mean, we have 2 wings.
He plays more center than he plays power forward. At least last year.
We have 2 wings. We have honestly 2 wings that are capable players. We have Brandon Ingram and Josh Hart.
And I thought I always saw Josh Hart as a shooting guard.
JJ will play some 3.
But I've never understood JJ Redick playing the 3. I've never understood that.
In today's game though, Lonzo's 6'6", so in terms of defensively, Lonzo can guard the 3.
That's true.
Yeah. So
But it's going to be different. I've heard a lot that Stan Van Gundy is apparently intrigued by some other teams' lineups last year about how they played 3 point guards at one time. So there was rumors saying like he would want to play like Kyra Lewis, Bledsoe, and Lonzo all at the same time or some stuff like that. I don't like that, but that was just a rumor I heard.
Yeah.
And none of those teams won the championship, so.
Right.
Well, I mean, the team that won the championship had the 2 best players. So,
I mean, I understand that. It was a joke.
But yeah.
What we got next, Cam?
Moving on next. I know we said we're going to talk more about the NBA, but there's not much going on in the NBA right now. Free agency's kind of dying out a little bit with training camp starting. So I'm gonna go back.
One thing before we move on real quick. One thing I wanted to address as far as the Pels go, sorry to cut you off, was the status of our 2 rookies from last year, other than Zion, would be Jackson Hayes and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. The big reason I think we signed all these other players is I don't know 100% if they're confident in Jackson Hayes to be the guy they maybe expected him to be when they drafted him. Because the good news is Willie Hernan Gomez's contract is like super easy to get out of. It's only like a $600,000 deal.
Yeah,
so
it's a vet man.
What I was hearing was they think if Jackson's not working out and they need a solid backup, Hernan Gomez will be the guy they turn to. But if they like what they're seeing out of Jackson in the first few weeks, they're just going to cut Hernan Gomez, cut their losses. I think it's not even guaranteed 100%, so they don't even have to pay him the whole thing.
Yeah,
and then they'll just move on to hopefully trying to find another wing. But I don't know. That was just something I want to talk about. And Nickeil at this point seems like to me like he's just losing his way out of the depth chart.
Yeah.
Well, it just said David Griffin viewed that he said in his press conference that he sees Bledsoe playing alongside Nickeil Alexander-Walker in some lineups.
Well, that would mean they were both coming off the bench then.
I mean, not necessarily.
I find that to be a terrible.
I mean, you don't have to. You don't. Bench players don't only have to play with bench players. There can be
also other thing you have to remember about what Griff says. Griff just makes the team. He doesn't pick who plays.
Yeah, that's a good point. But what I was saying is, you said they did both have to come on the bench. That's not true. I mean, if Bledsoe is starting, if Lonzo comes out, Walker goes in, we're still in a 2-guard backcourt.
The only way I see Nikhil getting any minutes is like in that E'Twaun Moore role, that E'Twaun Howard coming in, he'll eat up like 8 minutes a game in some weird games. That's about it though. But I don't know. He just hasn't shown enough yet.
Yeah, but getting off the NBA, what were you saying, Cam?
So we're gonna go back just one little bit to a little bit of college football. You know, LSU, they had a lot of guys lost in the draft, but they also had a lot of guys opted out, like we said. And it's not even just the guys that got drafted. Lost a lot of seniors as well that didn't get drafted and just parted ways due to graduation. Lost 38 total combined players. And your biggest one was obviously the greatest college quarterback ever, Joe Burrow.
Not true, but anyway.
So is LSU's quarterback on the roster or elsewhere? Because with Miles Brennan, big injury factor with him, is he your guy still if he stays, or will he transfer? And if he does transfer, is your quarterback on the roster?
Let me go ahead and give my perspective, and then I'll let y'all go because obviously I'm not an LSU fan. First off, false about Joe Burrow being the greatest college quarterback of all time. Second off, Miles was lighting it up when he played. But if you want my honest opinion, this team is so bad.
Yeah, it's
hard to really tell. Even when you had Miles Brennan, you lost to Missouri. And so, do I think Miles is a capable quarterback? Yes, he's a very capable quarterback. Do I think you win a national championship or get ranked in the top 10 with Miles Brennan as your quarterback? Not on this LSU team. No. I think a better question, rather than is the quarterback there, is what is the – it doesn't matter. If my honest opinion, it doesn't matter if the quarterback's already on the roster. There are so many holes in this LSU team right now that I just don't understand how it's going to get fixed in a year.
And you're right. And
yeah, he's pretty accurate in what he just said.
Yeah. And what's going to take a big hit on LSU, in my opinion, is recruiting with all these allegations going on. I don't know how true these.
Cam, you're frozen, by the way.
Am I good now?
You're lagging a little bit, but yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. But back to what I was saying. I don't know how true these rumors are or anything, but there's speculation that Ed Orgeron could possibly be either suspended or fired due to all these allegations.
Don't believe that.
And I don't really truly 1,000% believe it either. I'm not even at 50%, but I've heard big news outlets saying it, and a lot of the analysts were talking about it. That's what I got it from.
If you want my honest opinion on that, bro, Ed Orgeron should be more worried about his job being fired from LSU for not winning football games rather than.
Yeah, right. He just won a national championship.
Hey man, it happened. It happened to Gene Chizik.
No. Gene Chizik did not even have. No, Cam, I got this. He didn't have anywhere near the best team in the history of college football. So don't even start with that nonsense.
Let me ask you this. Go for it.
That man could have 3 losing seasons and he's not going to get fired.
Okay, but let me ask you this. Besides having a great team, okay, yes, you had an amazing team. That should play more into the fact that maybe it just – I'm not saying he's a bad coach. I love Ed Orgeron. But you have to understand that, he had the greatest college team of all time. I will give them that. I think a lot of people could have coached that team to a national championship.
You recruited every single one of those players.
Okay, recruiting is different than coaching, buddy. It's not the same thing. You can recruit them all.
It's college football. They literally recruited all those guys, some of which who were 2- and 3-star recruits, and coached them up into being amazing. How are you going to tell me? Because Justin Jefferson, a 3-star recruit, turned into a first-round pick into potential.
Okay, then let me ask you this. Then why aren't they coaching these guys to win football games? Like straight up,
they're all freshmen. They're freshmen. They haven't had time to develop. Justin Jefferson didn't play until his third year in the program.
All I'm saying is Ed Orgeron has had minimal to no success anywhere else. He ran a program, I can't remember the college, but he ran a program into the ground before he got to LSU. And you can't debate that.
It's not true. I
Did
can
he
debate
win?
that all I want.
Did Ole Miss ever go to any playoff games or win the SEC when he was there? Did
He coached at
USC
Ole Miss
ever?
for 2 years, and he coached at Ole Miss for 1 year. So how do you determine that to be a long enough
Okay,
tenure?
what was his best coaching season besides LSU?
This is his first big time gig. I mean, he coached at Ole Miss for 2 seasons.
Yeah, and it
you
was
can't
all
tell me
he,
that-
he came in as interim coaches because
correct at both places. At both places.
I
If
mean,
you
I
only
just
stayed
think,
at USC for 1 year,
I just think y'all have a bias on y'all. I think that y'all have a bias. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but I don't think y'all can look at it from
No,
an
this
outside
is not-
perspective.
this is not bias on me. He is not going. He's literally not going to get fired because of losing. He lost 38 players. 38.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, if this keeps up,
Obviously,
saying-
yeah.
I'll put it to you this way. After the national championship and now how bad this season is, he's not back to where he started hiring wise, but I mean, his seat's not as secure as it used to be.
I disagree completely. His seat's completely fine. I mean, he literally cannot control the fact. Okay, let's reverse the roles here. We'll use Alabama for example. Let's say Mac Jones leaves, Najee Harris leaves, Devontae Smith leaves. Let's 2 or 3 players on the offensive line. Let's say 3 of the 4 best defensive backs leave. Do you think Alabama's still doing what they're doing? I don't think they're winning every game. They might not be.
They're
doing as
not
bad
winning
as
every
we're
game,
doing.
but they're not being
They're
as bad
not.
as LSU.
Either way, you have to look at it from that perspective. They lost 38 players. At the end of the day, it doesn't completely come down to him. You have to
And
remember also, we lost our defensive coordinator, completely new defensive system. We lost our
Exactly.
passing game coordinator, a completely new passing game, even though it looks the exact same. But and completely new quarterback. I mean,
I was just about to say that.
and our offensive line is dog crap. I mean, they're
Probably the worst
terrible.
in the SEC.
So what I'm hearing
Terrible.
is, here's what I don't understand. When the players are good, it's great, it's coaching. When the players are bad, it's the players' fault. Is what basically y'all are saying.
No,
There's
they
no
haven't
blame.
had time to develop. Like I just
They
told
had
you,
no
that-
training camp. They had no spring games. They had no.
I'm not saying that he should be fired or that he will be fired. What I'm saying is he is not this god of a coach that everyone says he is.
He's not.
He
He's
had
not
one-
a legend yet, but he
No,
has.
He's
will
not a god
lose-
of a coach, anything. He's had one good season, and everyone says he's one of the best coaches in college football.
he is one of the best coaches in college football in the sense that he went out and literally, when you're a head coach of college football, you're not actually out there physically teaching the minute details of everything. Your big thing is to motivate your players and get them ready for the game on Saturday and to go out and recruit players who are going to win you football games. He did both of those things last season. You can't deny me that when you look at a guy like Joe Burrow, who wasn't even going to play at Ohio State, and a guy like Justin Jefferson or Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who are nobodies that hardly anybody else recruited other than like UL and Monroe. And he turned them into first-round draft picks.
So say he's a good recruiter, not a good coach, not an amazing. Say he's one of the best recruiters, not one of the best coaches.
That comes along with being head
hold on.
coach, though.
I'm gonna say something right here. You know how you just said he got a guy like Joe Burrow, got a guy like Justin Jefferson, and all those other players. When they named Joe Burrow starting over Miles in the 2018 season, everybody went freaking berserk. Everybody's like, "Who the hell is this kid? Why isn't Miles starting?" He was one of the top quarterbacks in his recruiting class. And yes, Joe Burrow did not have the greatest season his 2018 campaign, but Coach O, being the coach that he is, knew exactly what he was doing. And he knew that Joe was going to be something great. And look what happened in 2019.
He did not. I refuse to believe that he knew that anybody knew Joe that was going to do what he did that next season. Y'all didn't know it.
I'm not saying
I didn't know it.
I'm
Coach
not
O
saying
didn't
he
know that was
predicted
gonna
it,
do
but
what
he
did.
knew that he could be something great.
mean,
Nobody
you-
knew that. Nobody knew that he was going to throw for 60 touchdowns. He probably thought he was going to throw a good bit, but not 60.
All I'm saying is y'all need to slow your reign. I just slow your roll on the Coach O is the savior of LSU football after 1 year. Because let me tell you,
He
coming from
didn't
someone.
save LSU football. He led them to an undefeated season.
Okay, let me tell you this then. Then you have a very good chance of being in the same boat that a certain other team was in. Their name is Auburn. Okay,
Yeah,
Newton-
that's not factual.
how? We led them to an undefeated national championship.
And how many players did you have get drafted from that team?
That's because Cam Newton was the whole team.
Okay,
Which goes back to
My
the fact
point-
that Cam Newton was a better college quarterback than Joe Burrow, but that's beside the point.
My point exactly. You had one guy, and then after that, you didn't recruit a top 10 class for the next 3 or 4 years. That's why Gene Chizik got fired, because his teams were dog crap after that.
We'll see. I think y'all's recruiting might take a hit after this year.
We have a top 3 class for the next 2 years.
Yeah, but y'all got got a lot of those recruits before y'all started sucking.
No, we didn't.
You got that. The best recruit y'all gotten was right before y'all got blown out by Auburn.
Who's that?
That's safety.
What's his name?
I don't remember. That doesn't matter.
Okay.
Why is that important?
If you don't even know the guy's name, how can you bring it up?
Because I can bring it up because it's a factual stat. There's no reason. Why does that matter? Tell me why.
It doesn't matter. That's why I'm asking.
No, tell me why me knowing the guy's exact name matters to the point that I'm making, besides you being petty.
No, I was saying that it doesn't matter in the sense of it happened right before their blowout loss. It's not going to matter to these guys.
No, what you said is it doesn't matter if I can't know the guy's name. Why does that matter?
It's going to help them in the sense that those guys are going to come in and play right away almost.
I don't think we're going to be able to use any of this.
Yeah, we're fine. So you talked a little bit about Auburn, Parker.
Yes. Fire Gus Malzahn. You don't even have to. You don't have to give me the intro. Gus Malzahn is one of the worst coaches in college football. I'm a curse. I fucking hate him. It is like watching a 12-year-old coach a football game. When I had my camera up, guys, I had a campaign poster that Fire Gus 2020. And you know what? Not all the blame's on him. Some of the blame's on Auburn, because you know what we do for offense? We go and sign Chad Morris, who is the head coach the head coach of Arkansas. We signed him to be the offensive coordinator because he was Gus's good buddy. You know how many SEC games Chad Morris won at Arkansas? 0! He didn't win a single SEC game as a head coach.
And since we're going to talk about recruiting, I mean, I just saw y'all's 5-star running back just decommitted, so might have affected from the game on Saturday, Parker.
I mean, that's affected by the fact that we have one of the worst, if not the worst, college coach in all of football.
I think it also contributed to the kid saw Tank Bigsby ahead of him, and he said, "I'm not going to play here."
Yeah, I think that was mainly it. That he saw Tank, but I mean, Auburn. Like during the Alabama game, we're down 3 touchdowns and we have a 4th and 3, and it's a 58-yard field goal attempt. And Gus Malzahn trots out Anders Carlson to try the field goal instead of going for it. It's not going to make a difference. It's 3 points. And guess what? It's a 58-yard field goal. The kid's not even 20 yet. He misses it. And now they get the same field. Alabama gets the same field position as if we went for it. And we still don't get any points. He doesn't know how to run a team. He doesn't know how to coordinate a team. We're constantly getting penalties. They're not well coached. Bo Nix is a way better quarterback than he looks. He does not have a good game plan. I mean, we have the fastest player in college football history on this team. And we throw down the field, deep balls to him, maybe once every 3 weeks.
They should really teach their team how to spike the ball in practice too.
Yeah, they should teach that too. I mean, granted, Taylor, I wouldn't talk a lot of crap with how bad LSU is. We didn't have to spike the ball when we played LSU, did we?
Okay, that's
Taylor.
It didn't make any sense, but okay.
All right.
What was the final score of the Auburn LSU game this year?
300-0.
Yeah,
that's what I thought. But no, Gus, I mean, like I said, if you all go look at my Twitter, Unsportsmanlike Conduct account follows it. My Twitter banner says Fire Gus. My bio says Fire Gus, and I'm about to change my profile picture to Fire Gus. And they're not gonna. His contract's up in 2023, and he has a $21 million buyout. Which, after never winning a national championship, never even winning an SEC championship, they give Gus Malzahn a $21 million buyout. I don't know what Auburn's doing over there. Smoking crack cocaine. So yeah, I'm about to say I'm boycotting Auburn football until he's no longer the coach. It's just going to be nothing but bad game plans, screens, and running the ball on 3rd and 15. So before I start crying, that's all I have to say about that.
I know we changed the topic here, but one thing I do want to address, just going back to the Coach situation, is when you said that he's not the savior of LSU football, you need to just for 1 second put yourself in the shoes of an LSU fan for so years during the post-national championship Les Miles era. We sat there and watched for over half a decade. We watched an offense with the most talent we've ever seen come through our school. Odell, Jarvis, Leonard Fournette. I mean, the list goes on and on. You know these players. And you had a guy who came in there and said, nope, this isn't working. We're going to change this up. I'm going to bring in the right people, and we're going to change this offense. And that's exactly what he did. And you saw the 2018 LSU team, that was him. And they weren't that good. They were decent. They were a normal LSU team. And then you saw what he did in 2019. That's my big reason why I'm saying he's the LSU savior of football.
I just would caution y'all, because I remember being in the same situation, getting rid of a guy like Tommy Tuberville and getting this Gene Chizik guy. He comes in, wins a national championship very, very soon into his coaching career, and then it just goes downhill as soon as after that. He gets one of the greatest college quarterbacks of all time. And I'm not saying Coach O can't keep it up. I love Coach O. Y'all know I really, really like Coach O. I just would be hesitant to just call him Emperor Supreme already. And I mean, I honestly think that just as important to LSU, you want to talk about like how important the coaching was, just as important to LSU's coaching run, Joe Brady was almost as important, if not just as important, as Coach O was. I mean, you look at how different the game looks.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. He brought him in, though.
Yeah, Joe Brady's getting some head coaching offers right now.
Yeah, he's going to be head coach of Houston, I think.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. I'd love to see Deshaun with a guy like Joe Brady.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
As long as the Falcons don't get him.
We're going to wrap it up in a second. We're going to first talk about wrapping it up right here. Jake Paul fight.
Man.
We're going to quickly talk about that. So
Parker's got to hold that out.
I do. I said Nate Robinson was going to win. I haven't really told
that man called me an idiot months ago when the fight was announced. He goes, "You're crazy. Jake Paul's not going to beat up Nate Robinson. He was an NBA player and he smoked."
Just listen. The reason I was so passionate about Nate Robinson winning is because Nate Robinson is one of my favorite basketball players of all time. And there's a reason for this. I was always a football and a baseball fan because I grew up watching it and playing it, but I did not get into basketball at all. Like, I didn't care. I didn't watch anything about basketball until the Nate Robinson dunk contest where he jumped over Dwight Howard in the kryptonite uniform. That got me. I want to watch basketball. I want to learn about basketball. And that got me into, honestly, one of my favorite sports to watch. I mean, if there's a baseball game, football game, and basketball game on, I'll be hard pressed. And there's only 2 TVs. Basketball might make it on there. And so Nate Robinson, I put it as the reason that I like basketball. He's the reason that I enjoy basketball. So he's kind of always been like an important player to me.
That's a fair point.
And so I'll admit my gaze was clouded. So I just really not even thought he was going to win. I just wanted to be so confident because I wanted him to win so bad.
Yeah.
I think that was a money grab by him. I don't think he had any business in there.
No, he didn't.
They said his trainer with Jake Paul said this. So you don't know how factual it is, but he said that after the weigh-in, Jake ran into the trainer, Nate Robinson's trainer, and Nate Robinson in the hallway or something, or the hotel or whatever, and he said, said something to him, good luck or whatever tomorrow, and I'm sure Jake said some other things to antagonize him, but apparently the coach started yelling at him like, "Why don't you pick a real fighter to fight next time?" And that just came off to me like beforehand as like, "Oh, he's not ready for this, and he's probably going to get his butt kicked in." That's what happened.
I hate Jake Paul. If I could have, I will say this: there's one NBA player who I would bet my life savings that would lose, that would beat Jake Paul. James Johnson.
Oh, I thought he was going to say something different. I thought he was going to say Ron Artest.
James Johnson is I have it up right here because I couldn't remember.
Nobody knows who James Johnson is, so that'll never happen.
He gets serious playtime in Minnesota.
No, I'm saying no.
Oh yeah, good
random
point.
People know who that is.
I mean, not a lot of random people who knew Nate.
A lot of Nate Robinson was a 2-time NBA dunk champion.
3-time.
Even better.
But anyway, James Johnson is a 6th-degree black belt.
Jeez.
He is 20-0 as a kickboxer as of 2009, and he competed in an MMA fight.
As far as the Jake Paul fight goes, I think he needs to chill with calling out actual fighters like
fight Ryan Garcia,
Conor McGregor, and Ryan Garcia. Like they'll have to have a hospital there because he may die in there. But I think he's insane for that. He could fight somebody like KSI or something like that. That'd be cool to watch.
I'd like to see that fight.
That'd be fun. All right. One last thing. The Tyson fight. It was a little slow.
Please don't fight anymore. I hate when fighters come back and do this. I know I heard the money was donated to charity as far as Tyson. I don't know how accurate that is. I heard he made $10 million for that and he donated it to charity. I don't know how true that is, but it seemed like a money grab to me because, I mean, the fact that it was leaked beforehand that there wasn't going to be a winner announced and there wasn't, it just seems so fake to me. Like, granted, they went out there and threw a couple shots, but the whole fight, they just hugged each other the whole time. I just wish Mike would hang it up. Keep it hung up, It doesn't, it's just not helping his legacy.
You're going to end up seriously hurting yourself, man, or seriously hurting somebody else. I mean,
yeah.
There's just no point. Like,
he has nothing to prove, yeah.
I mean, Taylor's one of the biggest fight fans, whether it's UFC or boxing, that, like, definitely out of our friend group, he had no interest in paying to see that fight.
I didn't pay to watch it. I watched it for free on Twitch.
Yep.
Oh. All right, guys. Well, we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you for tuning in. If you did, please like and follow and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen to us on Spotify. Follow our Instagram and Twitter. I'll link those down in the description, and I will post it in the end credits. But until then, this is Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Thank you for watching. Signing out.